She's with child. We don't want to, no surprise questions here today. What did you ask me? I can't remember. The most memorable moment on the set. And that was a surprise. I thought it was the marriage proposal. That was the surprise. So you guys can go ahead and line up at the microphone with any questions that you have. And I will start with a question for you, Melissa. I grew up watching Clarissa Explains It All. Which was like an awesome show. How did you come to audition? Were you acting in other shows? I don't know your history as a child actor so much, but tell us about that.
I've been acting since I was 4 years old, and I was doing a lot of commercials, I was doing a lot of theater. Actually, when I was Clarissa, I was doing a play with Joan Hart, Joan Hart, and Lois Smith on like off-Broadway play. And I was auditioning, I just auditioned all the time, and one of the auditions was Clarissa, another one was Blossom, that I was doing at the same time. And they had me audition, I think, 3 times for Clarissa and 3 times for Blossom. And I didn't think they liked me, actually, for the part, even though they kept bringing me in. Once I met the producer, I was like, they're not going to hire me, they don't like me, he didn't like me. Oh. But he was pretty crazy about me, as it turns out, so he did it really well. So, yeah, so I got the part of Clarissa, and it all kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah, it did. How many, that was like 7, did you guys shoot in New York, first of all?
We shot in Orlando, Florida, at Universal Studios, had Nickelodeon Studios. I guess you can still go tour it down there. But I don't think they shoot anymore down there. But there were 2 sound stages that were brand new in the 90s, or I guess it was like 89 when we started there. And it was brand new, beautiful state-of-the-art sound stages, and I was living in New York and having to travel down to Orlando 3 weeks every month, which is kind of what I do now. Melissa and Joey, I travel to LA 3 weeks every month. So.
Oh, that's cool. So, because you actually live somewhere else.
I live on the East Coast, yeah.
You have a normal life now.
Yeah, I didn't want to be crammed in with all those people in Hollywood. So.
I know, it is nice to spread out. I'm from Ohio. Every time I go home, I'm like, oh, I really see the appeal to living in the middle of the country.
Yeah, there's something nice about, I have 2 little boys now, my 3rd on the way, so trying to, find new public schools, find new public schools and that kind of thing for my kids. Just wanted them to grow up sort of the way I grew up, snowstorms and whatnot.
Do you know if this one's a boy or a girl, or?
I don't know, I don't want to know.
Did you find out with your first 2?
I did. The first one I put it off as long as I could, and my husband just got the better of me. So we found out it was a boy at about 25 weeks. And the second one, the doctor sort of gave it away, so. Yeah. So I didn't have a choice in that one. So this one I wanted a choice.
That's nice. Yeah, my first was a surprise, and it's one of the true surprises in life. Like, you are truly shocked when they tell you boy or girl.
I figure it's gonna be a weird and confusing 40 weeks of trying to figure out what the sex is, and then also, I really want to go through the delivery, like not knowing. I think it will help.
Yeah. We can talk about that later. So after Clarissa, how long was your period between Clarissa and Sabrina?
We stopped Clarissa when I was about 17, right before I turned 18, and I went to 1 year of college at NYU, and then I went off to do the Showtime movie for Sabrina's Teenage Witch in Vancouver. We shot it, I guess I was 18, 19 maybe, and then right away the show got picked up, and we were in Hollywood living, my whole family and I had to pick up and move, and I was about 19, so it was only a few years between.
That's amazing. You have been working forever. Like, just work.
I do. I love to work. I've been doing it since I was so little, and I got my work ethic from my parents. They're both hard workers. My dad's a fisherman, technically a fisherman. He's like a lobster wholesaler, so nice. And then my mom has always been busy with raising all 7 of her kids, and being our manager and taking us around, to auditions and whatnot. So a full-time career for her.
Wow, amazing. 7. Wow.
Yeah. Well, 8 total. My dad has another one now too. So.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Let's go to you.
Hi, Melissa. I just wanted to say I watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch when I was younger all the way through, and I thought it was fabulous. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Now, I know you did at least 2 Sabrina movies, the Rome one and the Down Under one.
Yeah, the 2 that came after. We did the Showtime one first, before the show. The one with Ryan Reynolds. Most people know it didn't pass. And then those 2 we did while we were doing the series as well.
Can you just tell me about what it was like filming those movies aside from the series?
Yeah, it was fantastic. They kept wanting me to do these movies, and on my summers off, I didn't want to play Sabrina anymore. So they figured out really crafty ways to get me to do it by saying, oh, you want to go to Italy? Well, we'll go to Italy. You want to go to Australia? You want to learn how to scuba dive? Well, we'll get you certified and we'll send you down there. So they found these really crafty, amazing ways to do it. And they also let me bring my friends along. So some of the actors in the movies are my friends, or one of them is my ex-boyfriend. And you know, I got to bring my hair, makeup, and wardrobe people who are my best friends and my kids' godparents, and the puppeteers that came with the cat producers. So we got a lot of the team got to go travel with us to Italy for a summer and Australia for a summer. So the Australia one was amazing. It was so incredible. We were on a little island called Hamilton Island. It's like a private island. There's one hotel. There's no cars allowed. There's wallabies everywhere. So I would like run every morning. I'd take a jog from the hotel to the beach where we were shooting, and I just take this little jog. They barely had to do makeup on me because I already had like a natural tan going on. I think I had my eyelashes tinted, so there was no mascara. It was like,
It's amazing.
They're like, jump in the water, let's shoot. I'm like, all right. It was really fun.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tell us about Salem was the cat's name, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about the puppet, the
Everybody wants to know about the
puppeteering.
damn cat. So there was what we called Stuffy. There were two stuffed cats, sitting up one and a laying down one. And Stuffy was like our stand-in. That's what we rehearsed with, and that's what we just did all of our kind of rehearsal stuff with. But every time we had to like throw a cat in the air or something, you saw Stuffy flying around. But Stuffy was made to look exactly like the animatronic cat. There were two of them, the lay down one and the set up one. And then there's also like 15 live cats. One that was like a kitten that would like run and jump on things. One that would like to be held. One that liked to sit. One that liked to eat. And then backups for all of those. So I think there's only like one of the cats is still alive. The rest all passed away. So I think the cat that's still alive was the kitten that is either named Salem or Warlock. No, Warlock passed. I think it's either Salem or let's see. There was Witch. There was Warlock. There were so many of them. Keep them all straight.
Yeah, over all those seasons, I imagine. Yeah. Did the one that played the kitten grow up and then play like the sleeper or the eater?
No, we didn't. I think the kitten came in kind of
They got the axe.
The kitten came in kind of late, so I think that's why he's the only one still kind of kicking.
Okay, nice. Yes, you got a question?
Yeah. Hi, first of all, thank you for being here, obviously. I think it's a good segue, actually, because I always thought it was kind of interesting the way you worked with Salem in so many of those scenes. I mean, what was it like for you, sort of actually acting out scenes, but then having someone else who was doing voice acting?
You know, in the beginning, the writer, Nick Pakai, who you can follow on Twitter, he was there every day on set. He was one of our writers. And everyone just fell in love with his voice. I think he did it for the pilot, like just on the stage, just because people thought his voice was so interesting, and he ended up getting the job. But then towards the end, he went to write for King of Queens, so we didn't have him on the set anymore. And then we had our puppeteers doing the voice. And that was a little bit trickier when it wasn't the real person, especially, we missed out on a lot of bloopers because we didn't have the real guy there to kind of fill in the funny, humorous moments that the real cat would like go over and eat the eggs on the set. You know, he'd be like, eggs, you know, and like, he'd do these little things that were so funny that then we missed out on because the puppeteers didn't do it. But it was really interesting. I mean, there's always someone at the table, a woman named Maureen, a small redhead, and she was running the bot. She'd always be under, wherever I was, I could be like, morning, Maureen. At the end of every scene, we'd say, power down, Maureen, and the whole crew would yell it. She was under there controlling this huge rod, and she was doing the tail and the body. And then there were two guys off to the side that would do one of them did like the eyebrows and cheeks and ears, and one of them did like, I think one did the eyebrows and the eyes and ears, and one did the cheeks and lips. It was very complicated. So the whole thing, I mean, you got really used to it though, you know. During rehearsals you're talking to, you know, a stuffed animal, it becomes like this real thing for you. And then by the time the actual cat gets in there, it's blinking and moving its mouth, and it was that was more fun. Doing it with the live cat was interesting too though, because, you know, it's real, it's there, it's like you're talking to it, so.
Thanks very much.
Sure.
All right, come on up.
Hi, thank you for coming out today. My question for you is, I know you got the chance to work both of the Lawrence brothers other than Joey, and I wanted to know if who of the two, of all the brothers, it was your favorite and why?
Well, I've known this boy since I was really young. I mean, on my days auditioning in the city, I met him when I was like 4 years old. Well, not Andy, it's since he didn't come around until we were like 10. Andy's actually a direct, the reason he was born was because his mom saw my mom in an elevator in an audition, and she saw that my mom had just had a baby. She held him, she goes, oh, that's it. I gotta have another one. So she don't have Andy. So I've known those guys a long time. They're all very different. You know, Joey and I have an amazing relationship. We've been like brother and sister pretty much our whole lives. But then Matt's really laid back. Matt's really easygoing. And Andy is too, actually. Joey's a little bit more intense. But Matt and Andy, in very different ways, are very like laid back, cool guys. So they're fun to be around.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Next.
Hi, I really liked My Fake Fiancé, which Howard Monk did, or wrote, what you did with ABC Family. Are there any plans to either A, do more ABC Family rom-coms, or to do any particularly written by Howard Monk?
Well, we're actually kind of discussing doing like a Christmas movie for ABC Family, possibly with me and Joey. But that's really like early stage right now. We're just still negotiating everything. There's no script, there's no idea yet. They think they want to shoot it in Hawaii, and the writers want to shoot it in Italy. So there's a lot of talk about that right now going on. But not really with Howard. It would be, I would guess probably, well, if we were going to do a TV movie, it would be with our writers from our show. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, thank you very much. Oh, and also since Melissa and Joey just premiered, what's on tap for this season?
This is actually a really good season. You know, every show gets better as you go on. Second season is always better than the first season because you really get the wheels greased. You know, you really get the machine going. So there's a lot more use of the kids in this season in really funny, great ways. We wake up, or one morning we find Lennox waking up in bed with her boyfriend. They're fully clothed and on top of the covers, whatever, but still, it's the whole issue of what did we do wrong. And then we try to teach her how to drive, and Joey and I have big arguments over who's the better teacher, who's the better driver. We both have pretty bad accents, actually. I think I ended up dragging a stop sign through the house. But other than that, there's a lot of great adult stuff, too, that we do. For those of you that have seen the show, it is really a grown-up show. We have a sperm donor episode, that's my favorite we've ever done, where Joey, turns out when he was down and out, he donated sperm to sperm bank, and my girlfriend goes and is reading off the characteristics of the guy she likes that she maybe wants to choose, and it sounds an awful lot like Joey. And I put it together, and I try to get my friend to not buy his stuff. And it's funny how many different ways you can try to come up with words for sperm. So that stuff, spawn, junk, whatever.
That's family friendly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, come on up.
Hi, thanks for coming out. This is like a two-part for Sabrina and the current show. Did you get a chance to direct any of the episodes, and did you get to pick the topics that were covered on the plots?
Well, I'm an executive producer, and I was on Sabrina as well. So, I mean, but the writers, they're kind of their own world. I barely ever even see them. They're in a room 2 months before we even get there, and you know, hashing out ideas. And there's so many different levels to go through. They come up with like a gazillion different ideas, and they have to run them all past the network. And the network will pick the ones they like. Then they go and they develop them, and then they come up with an outline, and then they show the network those, and the network decides which ones they like, and then they give them to each writer on the staff. They give each one an episode, and they each get to write a different episode. And it's like their assignment to do that one episode. But then they all have to work on the punch-up of the comedy while we're shooting it and before it actually comes to us. So, so they have all that stuff so set in motion before I ever even like say hi to them or even know who the writers are for the season. Sometimes I get to say, like, a good friend of mine named Matt Boring, who was a writer on Melissa and Joey for the first 2 parts, the first season, really, the whole first season, 30 episodes. And he and I went to college together, and so we had a great time working together again. And it's great to be able to, you know, I get all my friends, all my writer friends, and to meet with the other head writers, but it's really the head writers room. It's their room, and they're allowed to do what they want, because I want them to say who does my hair and makeup. So we each take our own, we have our own kind of priorities there. So I don't really, I mean, I might say something like, I really want an episode where Lennox and I both come home late at night, and we're walking through the hallway, and we get busted by Joey, we're both sort of like in the same boat, even though she's 20 years younger than me. So that's one that I would like to do, but I want to do one camping in the backyard. I don't know why, but I have this like camping in the backyard episode, but they don't listen to me, so. But yes, I did direct. I directed a lot of Sabrina. I had a blast doing it. It was really tough. It's I did, I think, 7 episodes. I did the 100th episode, I did the few season finales, I did like Hilda's wedding one, some big ones, and it was very tiring, especially on that show. It was a lot of work. And I just directed one. They wouldn't let us direct until 2nd season, any of us, me, Joey, the head writer, because they wanted us to have one job at a time, really. So I just directed one that will be coming out the middle of this season, so sometime this summer.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Come on up.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Your characters, despite any of their magical abilities, have sort of been down-to-earth, normal girls with sort of, I guess you want to use the term, a good role model. And I guess as a woman in
Until this one. I don't know if you've seen Melissa Joey.
I mean, she's not like sitting around, showing off her boobs all the time.
Well, she can't go to the drunken slut.
No, I mean, even yourself, though, you project sort of a little bit more of a balanced image in all the press that you do. So what has it been like in your experience in Hollywood, sort of trying to balance that and keep yourself real and not having to
Well, it's
sell out
funny.
to that?
I feel like I have, like you said, been able to kind of manage that and sort of always be family friendly, if you will. But Hollywood looks at it as sort of vanilla and kind of boring. Unless you have a DUI and a drug bust, they won't put you in a feature film. So it's an interesting thing. Like, I want to do work I'm proud of, and I want to do work that, that I'm not embarrassed my little sisters see or my son someday might see. Actually, when I did Maxim magazine in '99, there was a big stir over it. I was actually 23 when I did it, and there was a big thing about how my network wanted to fire me from Sabrina, and they wanted to sue me, and they tried to get me kicked off the show. And it was weird though, because I was 23, I was an adult, and the problem is that Maxim had put the word Sabrina on the cover, so it wasn't my fault. Like, I wish it said Melissa, but it said Sabrina. But that taught me right there that my brother and my father were very tortured by that. People constantly throwing that magazine in their faces, their buddies and whatnot at work, and just friends just kind of opening it up and go, "Look at your daughter." And when I heard like what a tough time they were having with that, I decided not to do any more of that kind of stuff. Not any further than that, let's say, with, Playboy and that kind of thing. So I'm really glad I did that, because now I have little boys. So I don't want that out there. I don't want to be sucking that upstairs.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? My question is, okay. Do you still keep in touch with any of your castmates from Sabrina?
People ask me that like every day on Twitter and stuff. I don't really keep in touch with the cast. I keep in touch with the crew.
Okay.
Clarissa, the executive producer's assistant, and my wardrobe dresser have become, they're married, and they are my oldest son's godparents. And my wardrobe dresser from Sabrina and her husband, who's a grip, they're my second son's godparents. So I always tend to get a lot closer to the crew. The cast go on to different projects and whatnot. The crew I was always able to kind of take with me. I could take them to other projects. I can always work with my hair and makeup people for different things, whether it's an event, getting ready for a red carpet event, or a month-long movie in Atlanta. I can take them with me. And also on the set, you're with the crew from 5 a.m. to 2 a.m. sometimes. You're with them, sometimes literally 22 hours a day. And the cast kind of pops in and out for this scene or that, to this day or this week or that week. And you don't quite develop the bond, I think, that you do with the crew. So I always tend to be a little bit closer to the crew. But that being said, I still talk to a lot of people. Actually, two of my close friends right now are Soleil Moonfry and Alimi Ballard, who played the Quizmaster on Sabrina. So Alimi and I, we do a lot of stuff together. Like, we spend New Year's together, that kind of thing. Our kids get together. And Soleil, I take my kids to her kids' birthday parties all the time. It seems like her kids are having more birthdays than mine are. But, you know, so I do keep in touch with everybody. Last night I was Twittering a lot with, I think Caroline played my aunt, and Nick who played the cat, so the ants and the cat last night, because they were asking me all about this convention. I told them they should come with me next year, and they said that Nick was afraid that he'd get stuck next to Garfield or something like that. A cat joke, so. And then he asked who I was next to, and I said it was Jason Priestley, and he was like, "Oh, cool, say hi for me." No. So I do keep in touch with them, but just not super close.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Come on up.
Hi, thanks so much for coming. I have a very simple question. What is your favorite Sabrina episode? Or do you, I don't know, there's lots of them.
It's tricky.
Give me
It's
a few
tricky
of
because
them.
I don't remember it the way you guys probably do, you know, like, if you checked out our Twitter feed from last night, the reason why me, Beth, Caroline, and Nick all got on Twitter together was because someone asked about Drell, and I had no idea who Caroline said something about Drell. Was Drell there? And I wasn't really sure what she was talking about. And Beth was like, "Who the hell's Drell?" And then the fans reminded us that that was a witch from the first season, played by Penn and Teller. And it started this whole conversation, but wait, what was your question again?
What were some of your favorite episodes
Oh, my favorite
from the
episodes.
show?
So anyway, I remember these episodes differently than like you guys do. Like, I remember what was going on behind the scenes, what was happening in my life. I can tell you the episodes when I had the flu. I can tell you the episodes when my boyfriend broke up with me, those kinds of things. But probably the one that stands out the most to me, well, probably the Pancake Madness episode. I just loved it. That was the first one I felt was really, really funny, where I physically got into some humor and got to like dig in garbage cans and eat things out of garbage cans and have some fun. But it was just physical humor, so I loved it. But you know, things like dressing up and playing some of the characters like Alice in Wonderland, Cyrano, Cinderella, one of the first episodes in the first season. It was a Cinderella, kind of a Cinderella episode. It wasn't really Cinderella, but I was in a princess outfit and having to leap over a cavern of lava or something. And it was the first time I was really strung up on pulleys, and we shot that until about 3 in the morning. And I remember being exhausted in this tight dress and this thing hung from the ceiling and just hanging there and pretending like there's lava below me. Really, there's just green, big green piece of, you know, fabric. And they were like, "No, pretend you scream like you're," you know, and I was like, "No, I'm tired." Those were the early days of green screen when they really hadn't perfected it yet, and like you just kind of look weird. But still, it's always awkward when you're like, you know, they're like, "Pretend that over here is this and over there is that," and you're like, "Okay, wait, what? Which way? How?" Yeah, and then you look and they're like, "No, not there, there." Where? Everything was like a little up, a little down, a little up, a little right. Okay, well, it's like you're following a fly around regularly. So yeah, so. You know, I remember them differently, but the pancake one is always the one I say is my favorite.
Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
Hello, Melissa.
Hi.
I used to love Sabrina when I was a kid. That was like the highlight of my week, every weekend out of school. But my question is, if you had your magic, like saying, what like magical power would you have, and what would you do with it?
It's really simple. I just don't like traveling, so I would just like to snap and be home. You know, like.
You have your room. Like a magic room, or
yeah, or like no, quicker than that. I'd like to just leave, teleport. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I hate the light being that short. Okay, I already talked to you now, but just want to let you know that my mom temporarily disowned me because I texted her saying that I was talking to you. And she said, well, Phyllis, though, I don't have an older son anymore, but I'll be happy if you give me an autograph. And I told her no, because I'm working. But my question was that when I was younger and my mom let me watch your show, she didn't know that we were strict, like Baptists. The preacher found out that I was watching your show, and then she sat there and it got to a whole big ordeal with, "Oh, you're letting your son watch witchcraft." So I wanted to know, was there like any like jerk fan, jerk people that was bad enough bothering you about the fact that you were playing a witch?
In the beginning, when I did some panels like this, especially for the television, like for the Associated Press and stuff like that, like a lot of press would ask the question, you know, do you think that you're, you know, are you anti-religion? Do you believe in witchcraft? Those kinds of things. But I think once the show became popular, that all went away because I think they realized it was more about more about magic and not really about witchcraft. The witchcraft thing, you know, I think it's just I think there's a difference between magic and witchcraft, really. And what the show was really just magical.
Thank you.
Sure. Good answer.
Hi again, Melissa.
Hi.
I really like you in your dramatic roles, like Twisted, Two Came Back, and the one about the, when Peter McNichol, we cared about was winning money for the school.
Oh, yeah.
I really thought you did a good job in all three of them. Could you contrast which one you liked the best? Personally, I like the one when you got the football players.
The what?
The football players.
Oh, football players, Silent St. Mary, yeah.
Yeah, Lachlan Monroe.
Yeah, you know, I've had a long career. I've done a lot of different drama and whatnot. A lot of people don't know that about me. But one of the things that I loved was a movie called Nine Dead. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's out on DVD a few years ago. It was a passion project for my mother. She found the script and loved this movie and really wanted to make it. And she actually made the movie with her own money. And we had a really interesting time on the set of that movie because it all took place, 9 people, wait, 9 dead, yeah, 9 people, were there 9 people? There were 9 people in a room, in a cell, all handcuffed to a pole. And so the blocking was very simple. It was great because I just had a baby 4 months before, so it was really great to go to work and not have to do wardrobe changes. It all took place in a day. There's no blocking, so we're just tied to poles. So really it was just about the dialogue. And it became like theater for us. Every day shooting, we shot it in sequence, which is like unheard of in this business unless you're doing theater. We shot the movie pretty much in order, where every day a different person was shot and killed and dragged out of the room and bloody. And I also got to play a little bit of a bitch, so it was nice to kind of be able to, especially being an angry, or not angry, but a new mom and being very tired. Yeah, exhausted. It was nice to get to scream and yell and hit someone with a baseball bat. So there were some good parts of that. So that was probably my favorite project, but especially because of the way we shot it. We shot it in sequence. It's very simple. It was really about the relationships between the characters, and also because we shot it inside this soundstage, so it'd be like a room this big, but in the middle was this cell that was built, and they would just remove a wall and pop a camera, and remove a wall and pop a camera. So it was really felt like we were just sort of completely submerged in it, which usually there's, you know, only half a stage and the rest of it, everything that you see, everything the actors is looking at, there's cameras and lights and people. So it was really nice to kind of have that cell just be, just make it feel really authentic.
Well, hopefully IFC or Sundance will pick it up and show.
I think that ship has sailed. It is on DVD, you can find it.
Well, they might show up on Showtime, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's true. It probably will be on the networks.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
I'm going to bow out. I have a photo op. Sorry, guys, but I'm going to leave it with my able-bodied replacement here. And you still have 15 minutes, so feel free to line up. Yeah. Walk on up. We all want to hear you. Put you on the spot. I'm a terrible replacement for Claire. I'm sorry.
I grew up watching you on Clarissa Explains It All, and I always felt even as a kid that it was, you know, a really smart show and didn't talk down to us. And I was wondering, first of all, do you think that there are any kids shows like that today that are smart and don't talk down to kids in that way?
I'm not really sure because I don't really watch them, but I imagine that iCarly is probably pretty similar to Clarissa. Just watching it, it looked like a sort of new wave version of Clarissa. And I like that girl. I think she seems really talented. You know, not superficial. But yeah, I mean, the show was really smart. I knew it was a good thing that I was doing when I was on that show. Those writers were so intelligent. They went on to become the showrunners of Friends, and one of them went to run the Hunger Games. And you know, so they were really brilliant writers. And the thing that the executive producer, the creator, Mitchell Kriegman did is he set up a Bible in the beginning, which a lot of shows should have, but you know, they're not doing it so much anymore, but he set up a show Bible, and it was these rules of what was going to happen in the show, things you were or were not allowed to do as a writer. And I never saw the Bible, but I heard a lot about it. But you know, I think that really set a precedent for the show, and you know, made the writers kind of stick to the same idea. And I think it was a really good show. I think it really still kind of carried over. So.
The other thing I was going to ask you is, you had mentioned, you know, when you did Maximum, and you also mentioned that, you know, there was this perception of you as being vanilla. Was that what motivated you to do it, to break out of people's perception?
Honestly, I didn't really know what Maximum was when I did it. I was doing a movie and I had a big fancy publicist and he said, you have to do this, and I said, okay. And I got to the set and there were just underwear hanging up on a rack, so. Luckily I just come from a party to play women, so I was okay with that. But, because most of the time when I showed a photo shoot and they had like bra panties hanging up on a rack, I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But this one, I had already been at the party all night, so I was good. But I knew it was good publicity to do. It was a cover of a magazine, so, you know, and I know the magazine had always been really fair to me in the past. They put me in their top 100 a few times, and it was always in a sweater and a skirt, so I didn't think it was any, you know, I didn't think it was any big deal. Really, I just thought I was promoting my show, and for my movie, and my show. And I was doing a ton of press at the time. I was exhausted. I didn't know where I was being pulled left and right, you know. I was going one day to Utah to shoot something with Britney Spears, and one day I was shooting this photo shoot, and one day I'm at this party, and one day I'm in New York doing this thing, and MTV has me here, and someone has me there, and just doing a lot of promoting, and I was really busy, and I was exhausted, and I, you know, just trusted the people around me to make the right decisions for me, and I actually think it turned out to be a great thing, because that controversy that week or 2 weeks that it lasted, Leno talked about it at night, you know, Regis talked about it in the morning, it was in the New York Post for a full solid week. They had a different update on the story. There wasn't a story, but it actually got a lot more press out there than we ever thought we could for the movie, and so the movie opened pretty big, so it was good.
Thank you.
Sure. Ended up, actually, Drive Me Crazy ended up being one of the 3 Fox hits that year that made money. It was Drive Me Crazy, Star Wars, and there was one other movie that I'm not sure what it was, but those were like the only 3 movies that year for Fox that made a nice game.
Hello again. I remember when you did Sabrina animated series, and I think it was your sister. Was your sister playing Sabrina?
Emily.
Emily, yep. Is she still acting? And would you do like voiceover cartoon shows? Would you do that?
No, she is not acting. She should. She's really talented. There's actually a short film I directed. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I think it was out on the, what's it called? Short Film Channel was putting it out. And so I'm not sure if it's out on the internet yet, but I'll find out. It's called Mute. And my sister starred in it. She's so talented, and I wish she would have done it more, but she went to college in San Diego and ended up staying in San Diego. And now just living there, and she's getting married, and she's 26. And but she was just too afraid of the rejection. She didn't want to go on auditions and not get the job. It was too upsetting for her, so she bowed out of the business. Pretty much all my siblings did.
Oh, okay. And would you do like voiceover cartoons?
I love to do voiceover. Yeah, I just did some for Robot Chicken, and I'm always afraid I'm gonna get in trouble when I do those. And I'm on all those like the Batman, Joker, and the twins, Dee Dee and I don't even know their names. I think it's maybe Dee Dee and Dee Dee, but the twins in the Batman series and some of those, and I haven't done any in a while, but I would love to.
Thank you.
Now, who would you have liked to work with, past or present?
Bill Murray. He's one of my favorite people, and I get the pleasure of golfing with him once a year. He calls me on my birthday, and it's one of the biggest thrills, so I would love to work with Bill. Also Danny DeVito, who his daughter Lucy is on our show, Melissa and Joey, and we've been trying to get him on the show, but I think he's a little busy with his Sunny in Philadelphia producing and starring in it. And but I would love to work with Danny, and because Danny produces and directs like some great stuff too, so I would love to work with Danny, but I would really like to work alongside Bill.
Thank you.
Sure. Come on up, honey. No pressure.
How fun was it doing Melissa Explains It All?
I had a really good time on the set of Clarissa. I was 13 to 17 when I did it. It was hard because I was in high school too. So my hours, my weeks were really long, like 70-hour weeks at that age. So I only got Sundays off, or no, Saturdays. I only got Saturdays off. I had to work on Sundays. So that was really hard to be a kid and not really, and also we shot the show in Orlando, but I lived in New York, so most of my friends were in New York, and with the hours I was working in Orlando, I didn't get to make any friends unless they came on the set. So anytime there was a little girl on the set, like Joanna Garcia was on it, and a few other people that, when they came on the show, I was just so happy to have a girlfriend that I'd be like, you want to sleep over? You want to make cookie dough? You want to watch 90210? So I should tell people that. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so it was tough. It was hard work, but I had fun.
Hello.
Hi.
I was reading on your Twitter that someone asked you about who the biggest prankster was on Melissa and Joey, and you said you thought it was probably you. I was wondering what kind of pranks you guys pulled on each other on the set.
I keep trying to get Joey on April Fool's Day. I always want him to get in a big fight with me and make everyone really scared that we're actually in a huge all-out brawl. But he won't do it. I'm like, come on, this is like the ultimate acting experience. We have to like trick people that we're acting in front of. But he won't do it. He's like, no, I can't. And I keep trying to push him on the set. Like last April Fool's, last year, 2011, I kept trying to get him. I kept trying to pick a fight with him. And if he messed up his lines or anything, I'd be like, oh, you just screwed up really bad. Thanks a lot. Now we have to do it again. He's like, shut up, stop it. Don't try to get in a fight with me. I couldn't get him to do it. It was really frustrating. But, you know, just doing things like, what did we hung something in his doorway and waited for him to come out and walk into it. I can't remember what we hung. Was it saran wrap? Did you saran wrap it? Saran wrap, yeah. Oh, we did that on his toilet. I listened outside his room to see if we could, you know, I think I put some green food coloring in the milk on the set. That freaked some people out. They thought, you know, we had some bad milk on set. But, you know, once in a while I just like to do stuff like that. My favorite thing is Joey's late sometimes to work. And I always want the crew to hide, but they won't do it. I'm like, come on, everybody hide. And I mean, we did it once on Sabrina. I forget who we did it to. But the writers, they were coming down to talk to us about a scene. And we hated when the writers came down to talk to us because it just wasted our time, really, of what we thought. So the whole crew, we'd go and run and hide. And then like, the writers would walk in, they'd be like, where's everyone? We're like, I don't know. Completely, 100 people just disappear. I would have had him up there and say, they all quit. Yeah, it was always fun to do that. We haven't been able to pull it off on Melissa and Joey though.
Hi, I was just wondering how your perspective may have changed on some of your previous work after having children.
Well, my time changed mainly. Just being able to work as hard as I used to and you know, travel as much as I used to, that kind of thing. It's I'm really more selective about what I do now because I don't want to take time away from my kids. I want to be a full-time mom. So that's why I've got to leave here in a few minutes because I got to catch my flight back. Go see my boys so I can make them for dinner. So not really, I mean, my projects, it's funny, my projects have gotten a little racier since I've had kids. I think that's just because I played Sabrina, played a teenager until I was 27. So, you know, I was ready to play an adult. And I like adult humor and I like adult comedy. And it doesn't mean my kids have to see it. So, I don't think my kids will ever, you know, until they're teenagers at least, see 9 Dead or they do watch Melissa and Joey, but they don't get it. They don't really sit there and watch it. They're like, oh, look, it's you. Okay, bye. I keep trying to get them to watch Clarissa and Sabrina, but they're not into it. Which is fine, because I don't want them to know what I do anyway. I want them to know that I have a job and what I do, that I work hard, but I don't care that they know what kind of job it is. So, you know, so it's, I think actually it's funny though, because my work has actually gotten a little bit racier.
We have time for 2 more quick questions.
So I just wanted to know, what was your Twitter? Because like 2 popped up.
Melly J. Hart.
Oh, okay, Melly J.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
The little blue check always helps you know who the real person is.
Okay, you 2 are the last 2.
Did you work on All That, the TV show?
I don't think I did. I think I was on the set once. Maybe I did one like skit or something with them. Not that I don't really recall it.
Did you hang out like that cast at all? And, like, was
No, you know, that was a different time. They were shooting in LA, and I was, you know, they came after, way after. My Nickelodeon days were over. I was already on ABC.
Wasn't All That Dan
All right,
Schneider?
thank you.
Sorry?
Yeah. Wasn't All That Dan Schneider?
Was that the producer?
That's the guy that does like.
All that was Keenan and Kel and Amanda Bynes,
No,
right?
he's doing iCarly. Zoe.
Oh, all that I think was the Tolan Robbins.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, the kid from, what was the show that Tolan was on? Head of the Class, yeah. And then he was the producer of all that.
Hi, it's great to see you. I just had a question. I know you said you don't have a favorite show that you did. What was your favorite time period in Sabrina, like high school, college, or after?
Well, Clarissa, I knew I was on a great show. I really appreciated the show, but I did not like how hard I had to work for it. It was really difficult, hours and days, and felt kind of alone. I mean, I loved the crew, but they were all older than me, so it wasn't like I had any peers. But I also love the fact that I hated high school and junior high. I hated, I did not fit in, and so it was kind of nice to not be a part of that, to have adults around that. Adults are a lot nicer to kids, I feel like, than kids are to kids. So I did appreciate that. But then on Sabrina, I was an adult, I was living on my own, I got a dog, I bought a house, it was amazing. So that was a great time, but I was also living in LA for the first time, so started kind of going out and becoming friends with other celebrities and stuff, so that was fun. But now I'm a mom, so now my life is very different. But I have to say that I'm really proud of all the shows for so many different reasons. Like Clarissa, I think because she was such a role model and she was so strong and so smart. Sabrina, because she appealed to so many people and gave people, I think, a real place to kind of tune in and feel like they understood her. But Mel, the character I'm playing now, is the most like myself, I think, because she's just silly and a little raunchy, a little inappropriate, and but I get to play that kind of magnified, my personality magnified, because I get to play this really crazy girl who just can't walk in high heels, but the higher the better, and I get to do big hair and fancy outfits, and Sabrina, I didn't really like what I wore. Clarissa had great wardrobe. Sabrina, not so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.